November rain. A single notification lights up his laptop, the kind of email you don't want to open but can't ignore. The subject line feels cold, rehearsed. Organizational update, content automation transition. He clicks it anyway. And in 20 words, 4 years of his life disappear. No warning, no goodbye. Just efficiency. He sits there, listening to the hum of the fridge, the soft drip from a leaky faucet, and the sound of his own heartbeat, trying to make sense of it. The words blur on the screen: AI-powered content solutions, restructuring, regret to inform you. Outside, the rain keeps falling, steady and mechanical, like the world's already moved on. He stares at his reflection in the laptop, the tired eyes, the stubble, the disbelief. For the first time, he wonders what happens when thinking itself becomes obsolete. He whispers to the empty room, "Maybe I just got replaced." But somewhere, beneath the shock, something else stirs a quiet defiance. Because if a machine can write stories, then maybe it's time to tell one it can't. November rain. A small apartment in the middle of the city, windows fogged by breath and time. The kind of night where silence has texture, heavy, electric, waiting for something to break. He sits at his desk, the blue light of the screen cutting through the dark. The only sound is the low hum of the fridge and the slow drip from a leaky faucet that never quite seals. His fingers hover over the trackpad, hesitant. The subject line blinks back at him. Organizational update, content automation transition. He already knows. The tone of the message, the way his manager couldn't look him in the eye during last week's meeting, the quiet hallway outside the office bathroom, all of it had been whispering this truth for weeks. Still, he clicks. As part of our transition to AI-powered content solutions, we regret to inform you he doesn't read the rest. The words blur into static. It feels mechanical cold, perfect, unfeeling, almost poetic. If it didn't destroy him, he sits back in the chair, staring at nothing. The faint reflection of his face ripples on the laptop screen. Eyes sunken from too many nights spent revising other people's ideas, rewriting for brands that no longer remember his name. He used to believe writing was sacred, that words had fingerprints, that no machine could mimic the quiet chaos of human emotion. But now, his entire department is gone, replaced by a program that never sleeps, never doubts, never costs a paycheck. Outside, car headlights smear across the wet pavement. The world keeps moving. His doesn't. He laughs, a single sharp sound that doesn't sound like him. "Guess I just got optimized," he mutters, though no one's there to hear it. The cursor blinks on the layoff email. It almost looks alive. He clicks it closed, then opens it again, then closes it once more. The finality of it feels unbearable, like sealing a door that once led somewhere bright. He opens a folder labeled Portfolio. Dozens of articles, ads, and blog drafts fill the screen. He scrolls through them, each headline, each line of copy once meant something. "Find your story," one of the slogans says. Now, he can't even find his own. The clock reads 11:42 p.m. He should sleep, but his thoughts won't stop looping. What did I do wrong? Was I too slow to adapt? Was it my style, my tone, my worth? He opens a job site, searches, copywriter. The listings stab him with irony: AI content strategist, prompt engineer, automation assistant. Every opportunity is now built atop the same thing that took his away. He exhales, long and unsteady. Somewhere below, a motorcycle engine cuts through the rain. A reminder that someone out there still has direction, momentum, purpose. He clicks open a new document, blank. A white screen, pure, infinite, unjudging. He starts typing, "I lost my job today," to a machine. He pauses, stares at the words, deletes them. The room feels smaller now, like the air itself is pressing in. He closes the laptop, but its glow lingers behind his eyes, that sterile blue of an algorithmic world where feelings are data and stories are just prompts. He gets up, walks to the window. The rain softened into mist, the kind that blurs the city lights into watercolor smears. He whispers almost without voice, "Maybe it's time to learn their language." The sentence feels strange in his mouth, part threat, part surrender. He turns off the light. The screen stays on, reflecting his silhouette in the dark. A man on the edge of something he doesn't yet understand. The sound of the rain swells, then fades. Only the soft pulse of the laptop remains blinking, waiting. Morning comes without warning. No alarm, no urgency, just the pale light slipping through the blinds like it's sneaking in on a secret. The city outside hums faintly, buses sighing at red lights, a vendor's cart rattling down the street, the faint buzz of someone else's routine. But not his. He lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. There's a coffee stain up there from last year's spill. He used to say he'd clean it when he had time. Now time is all he has, and it hangs heavy in the air like humidity before a storm. When he finally gets up, the apartment feels larger, emptier. Every sound is exaggerated. The creak of the chair, the soft click of the kettle, the first breath of the day. He doesn't bother checking his phone. He already knows there's no message waiting. He sits at the table, staring at his laptop. The same device that gave him the bad news now glows like an accomplice. He opens a browser, types jobs for writers. The screen floods with listings that all read like jokes. AI content supervisor, prompt optimization specialist, automation copy engineer. It's like watching someone rearrange your funeral flowers into a bouquet and calling it innovation. He scrolls until his eyes ache. Then he stops. He opens an old article, something he'd written 2 years ago, about a city's hidden cafes. He remembers how long it took to get the tone right. The rhythm, the pauses, the warmth. Each line had fingerprints. Then, curiosity betrays him. He searches for the same topic online. The top result, an AI-written article. Clean, correct, bloodless. He compares them side by side. His version feels like a person whispering in your ear, "Let me take you somewhere." The AI's version feels like a GPS voice saying, "Turn left in 300 meters." He reads both aloud, his voice cracking on the last line. He doesn't cry. He just sits there, eyes fixed on the words until they stop meaning anything. The apartment feels colder, or maybe he's just noticing it now. At noon, he finally leaves the chair, wanders to the window, rain again. He watches drops crawl down the glass like they're racing toward the edge. Down below, a man in a delivery jacket rides by on an electric bike, face hidden under a plastic hood. He looks free, functional, useful. A quiet envy forms in his chest. He presses his forehead against the glass. It's cool, grounding, almost kind. He whispers, "What do I even do now?" No answer, just the city breathing around him. Afternoon fades into gray. He reopens his laptop, not because he wants to, but because he can't stand the silence. He types motivation after job loss. Hundreds of articles appear, all written by the same kind of algorithm that took his place. Each one promising hope in the exact same tone. Remember, every ending is a new beginning. He laughs, a single bitter note that echoes off the walls. He opens ChatGPT. There's irony in the gesture, but also something else, curiosity. He types, "Write a motivational paragraph about losing your job." The response is perfect. Too perfect. It says all the right things in all the right places, but it feels hollow. He leans back, stares at the ceiling again. For a long minute, the only sound is the rain and the faint hum of the laptop fan. He says quietly, "Even comfort's automated now," but he doesn't close the tab. Instead, he scrolls, reads more, even starts typing again, short, hesitant phrases. What's left for people like me? Then deletes them, then writes them again. Hours pass unnoticed. The sky darkens, the streetlights flicker on, and the glow of the monitor paints his face in sterile blue. There's something strange happening beneath the bitterness, something faint, like the first ember of curiosity under wet wood. He doesn't understand it yet, but it's there. He whispers to himself, "If I can't beat it, maybe I can learn from it." The words hang in the air like a truce. He sits a little straighter, opens a new tab, starts exploring. How do AI models work? How to train language systems? Human creativity versus machine output. The search results pull him in deeper, and for the first time in weeks, he forgets the clock. Outside, the rain softens to a mist. The sound shifts from static to rhythm. In the reflection of the screen, his eyes look different, not alive yet, but searching. He whispers, almost like he's afraid the world might hear, "I'm not done." And this time, the silence doesn't feel so heavy. It feels like space. The next few weeks unfold like static. No clear signal, no melody, just noise. He wakes up late, drags himself to the desk, scrolls through job boards, and stares at the same listings as yesterday. Every refresh feels like déjà vu, the same buzzwords, the same hollow optimism. We're seeking a content visionary to leverage next-gen automation tools. He wants to laugh, but the sound never leaves his throat. The apartment is beginning to decay in small ways. Unopened mail piling near the door, a dead plant on the windowsill, dishes stacked like a monument to procrastination. The air smells faintly of instant noodles and burnt coffee, his new diet of survival and surrender. He used to be the kind of man who cared about rhythm, not just in words, but in life. The rhythm of deadlines, commutes, small talk with baristas. But now the days have no verse or chorus, just the drone of background noise and air conditioner that sounds like it's struggling to breathe. Sometimes he opens his old work folders just to feel something, to remind himself that he used to be good at this. He scrolls through hundreds of headlines, blog drafts, ad slogans, little ghosts of his former self. He mouths the words quietly, like prayers to a god that no longer exists. When he can't sleep, he scrolls through social media. Former colleagues post pictures of new offices, new titles, new beginnings. "So proud to announce my next chapter," they write. He presses like on one of them, just to prove to himself he isn't bitter, but he is. He scrolls further job advice, motivational quotes, AI tutorials. Everyone's adapting. Everyone's thriving, except him. The thought arrives like a whisper in the dark. Maybe I peaked before the world changed. He hates that thought, but it doesn't go away. One night, around 2 a.m., he opens ChatGPT again, not out of curiosity this time, but defiance. He types, "Write a story about a man who loses his job to AI." The machine obeys instantly. The story is neat, moral, optimistic. A man learns a lesson and finds happiness. It's everything he wants to believe, and yet none of it feels true. He reads it out loud. His voice breaks on the third line. "You don't feel anything," he says to the screen. "You don't know what it's like to sit in the dark, wondering if you've already expired." The cursor blinks. Silent. He closes the laptop, slams it shut, and the sound startles even him. The silence afterward feels alive, like it's listening. He paces the room, runs a hand through his hair, stares at the ceiling again, where that coffee stain now looks like a spreading bruise. He whispers, "What the hell am I doing?" His reflection in the dark window doesn't answer. It just stares back hollow-eyed, pale, unfamiliar. He grabs his coat and steps outside. The night air hits him like a confession, cold, sharp, real. The streets are almost empty, wet from a late drizzle. He walks aimlessly, shoes splashing through puddles that reflect the city's neon veins. Every store window glows with screens, menus, billboards, automated displays. Every voice he hears belongs to a speaker. Even the gas station down the block has replaced its cashier with a self-service terminal. He laughs under his breath. Guess we all got replaced. He passes a cafe he used to write in. The lights are off, chairs stacked. A closed sign swings gently in the breeze. He stands there for a moment, remembering the mornings spent there, the hiss of the espresso machine, the warmth of the cup between his hands, the quiet chatter of strangers typing dreams into existence. Now, it's just silence and reflection. He sits on a nearby bench. The rain starts again, soft at first, then harder. He doesn't move, just watches it soak through his coat, his jeans, his shoes. It feels like the universe is scrubbing him clean, or maybe just testing if he'll drown quietly. He whispers to himself, almost in prayer, "I'm tired. I just wanted to matter." The words float into the rain and disappear. A bus roars by, its lights sweeping across his face. For a moment, he sees himself in the reflection of the window, blurred, doubled, human, and something inside him cracks, but not in the way it used to. He realizes he's been trying to prove something to the world, to the machines, maybe even to himself, that he still belongs. But in chasing that, he's forgotten how to simply exist. He wipes his face, though he's not sure if it's rain or tears. Probably both. He walks home in silence. By the time he reaches his apartment, dawn is threatening the skyline, a thin gray light creeping between the buildings. He unlocks the door, steps inside, and for some reason, instead of going to bed, he opens his laptop again. This time, his fingers don't hesitate. He types, "Write a story about a man who loses his job to AI but doesn't give up." Then he stops, deletes the prompt, and writes it himself. The first sentence comes slow, then another, each one imperfect, trembling, human. The words feel alive. They hurt, but they breathe. He keeps writing until the sky turns pink, and when he finally looks up, there's a faint smile on his face, the first in weeks. Not victory, not clarity, just the smallest proof of life. Morning arrives quietly, like a truce. The kind of morning that doesn't demand anything from him. No deadlines, no calls, no expectations. Just light slipping through the blinds, tracing soft lines across the floor. His laptop still glows faintly from the night before. The document is open, the last words half finished. He stares at them for a moment, unsure if they came from exhaustion or awakening. He reads the last sentence again. He didn't give up. He just changed direction. A weak smile crosses his face. It isn't profound, it isn't polished, but it's his. He closes his eyes and listens. The refrigerator hum, the faint buzz of the city waking up. The world still moves, and so can he. He reopens the browser, not the job sites this time, not the motivational blogs either. Instead, he types, "How to train an AI to write stories." Dozens of tutorials appear, technical, complex, intimidating. For a moment, the old self-doubt returns. This isn't me. I'm a writer, not a coder. But then another voice, quieter, truer, whispers back, "Maybe that's exactly why you should learn." He clicks the first tutorial, then another. He starts reading, and the words begin to make sense in a strange way, not like code, but like rhythm, the same rhythm he's always searched for in language. Tokens, patterns, prediction. It's all about context. He takes notes. He experiments. He laughs once when he realizes he's talking to the machine like an old friend. "All right," he says softly, "if you're going to take my job, the least you can do is teach me something." By evening, he's deep in a strange dance with the algorithm. He gives it prompts. It gives him structure. He edits. It learns. The more he feeds it, the more he sees its flaws, the hollow cadence, the absence of doubt, the lack of trembling in its sentences. He realizes something. AI isn't replacing creativity. It's replacing certainty. And maybe that's what he'd been addicted to, the idea that he had to know his place, his path, his identity. Now he's learning to exist in the uncertainty. That night, he records something. His voice is rough, unsteady, but there's a tone in it that wasn't there before, not confidence, but conviction. "I lost my job to AI," he says into the microphone, "and for weeks I thought that meant I was worthless. But the truth is, I'd just forgotten what it meant to create for myself." He pauses, lets the silence breathe. "So tonight, I'm building something new, not against the machines, but alongside them." He stops recording, listens back. The audio is raw, imperfect, real. He opens a new account on a podcast platform, titles it "From Unemployed to Reborn." He uploads the clip, hits publish, then immediately regrets it. His chest tightens, that old fear of being seen, being judged. He closes the laptop and walks away. But later that night, he can't resist. He checks it again. 5 plays, then 10, then 20. A few comments trickle in. "Man, this hit too close. I thought I was the only one feeling this way. Please keep talking." He reads them all, blinking hard. He sits back in the dark, letting the weight of it sink in. For the first time since the layoff, his words, the ones he thought no one needed anymore, are heard. He laughs softly, shaking his head. "Of course it's AI that made me human again." Over the next days, he builds a routine. Morning, research. Afternoon, record. Evening, walk. His neighborhood, once a blur of gray buildings, starts to feel alive again. The smell of bread from the corner bakery, the chatter of students by the bus stop. Even the rain, once a soundtrack to despair, now feels like rhythm. He keeps experimenting, blending AI with his own writing, feeding it emotion, extracting structure, turning the cold logic of the machine into warmth. He starts teaching small online classes, writing with AI, not against it. He speaks slowly, honestly. You can't fight the future, but you can teach it your language. People listen, they ask questions, they thank him. And with every message, every new voice, the static in his mind begins to clear. Late one evening, he replays his first podcast episode. He hears the tremble in his voice, the uncertainty, but he doesn't cringe. He feels gratitude. That broken version of himself built the bridge he's standing on now. He leans back in his chair, eyes closed, a small smile forming. He realizes he no longer hates the machine because it didn't take his purpose. It helped him find it. The rain starts again outside, not as noise as music. He turns off the screen. For the first time in months, the darkness feels peaceful. He whispers to himself, "You can't automate courage." And somewhere between exhaustion and peace, he begins to believe it.